Okay, agenda item number 12, County Advisory Boards to manage wildlife member items. CAB members may present emergent items. No action may be taken by the commission. Any item requiring commission action will be scheduled on a future commission agenda. Any of the CABs? Come up, Mr. Wellington.
Thank you, Ken Wellington, for the record, Elko County. I was at that meeting. I just wanted to say that if the DAG needed my opinion, then she can give me a call regarding that. I'm not going to beat it up. I think you've handled it. I would like to apologize to the department from my county commission also, because that meeting was not a county commission meeting, nor was it sanctioned by them. Mr. Charlie Myers wanted me to make sure I let you know that. This was a they supported the concept of looking at the sage grouse. I'd like to say that Mr. Carpenter, who is not an assemblyman, he's just a business owner, just as I am. He sits on the Natural Resource Board as I am, acted on his own in establishing a place and setting up the speakers for that meeting. I'd like to say that the department was represented in the audience, and I thought they were professional and withheld themselves. They were not asked to speak or present scientific facts. I heard two people, I thought, that had actually educated themselves, and that was Gary Back from the stewardship. And after he spoke right off the bat, he made it clear to the audience that they needed to pay attention. He saw the agenda, he saw the direction it was going, and it was going to be about predation, and that was the only thing it was going to be about. And so he kind of warned the audience to let them know that there was going to be, you know, you need to focus on the main items that are at hand. And so I just wanted to apologize personally for myself and Mr. Myers for the comments and the actions that were taken over there. Thank you.
Gil, come on up.
For the record, Gil Yannick, Carson Advisory Board. I just want to remind members of the CAB that may not have been here yesterday that during the lunch time, I'll be glad to go over the new budget spreadsheet and try to help some of the CAB members that may have been recently appointed to the advisory boards, that if you need help with it, we can spend some time here today, and members of the department are available, and I'm available to help any of the CABs, you know, prepare their budget.
Okay, thanks. One thing I did is I put Gil in charge of the Finance Committee. He's the chairman of our Finance Committee, and I want to thank Gil. He's doing a great job and working with Deputy Director Cates on all our finance issues, and they're being very proactive. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more finance issues coming forward. So anyway, thanks, Gil. Appreciate it. Any other county advisory boards? Jim?
Jim Janae, Lyon County CAB. I would like to make a comment and thank these county game boards for showing up. I think we're getting a lot more participation out of the boards than we've had in numerous years. That said, I would like to mention our committees that you've set up, Mike. I think are a great idea. I would like to see the board and the CABs get together and find a way to get the information to the CABs, and on our action item we put it in there 2 weeks before the commission meeting, so we have a chance to have everything. Now the bear was great because I called Dave and told him, hey, don't leave us out, and he got everything to us. The trapping, I completely missed it. I knew there was something going on, and we had nothing on it. So we can see that there's a gap out there, and we need to take care of it early, and that's what we're asking for.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll just all of our committee chairmen keep in mind our CABs and the you know, sometimes these scheduling these things is a real challenge, and but yeah, our committees should take into account how the flow of information and the scheduling of our wildlife commission meetings occur. The problem is that you know, these committees, especially when they are have non-commission members and even when they have commission members, we have some budgetary issues, and so when we go to set these meetings up, a lot of times we're setting them up in conjunction with commission meetings, and so the actual committees are meeting literally the day before or the day of the commission meeting, and that poses some challenges. And so, but rest assured that if that does happen, that more than likely what you'll see is an informational item on the commission agenda for that meeting. And it has been my commitment, and I think the majority of this commission's commitment, that this commission will not take an action item, without the CAB input. And so, you won't see a situation where we have a committee meeting, right before a commission meeting and have a follow-on action item that would, not have your input. So I hope that I'm representing what most of the commissioners believe. Commissioner McNich?
Thank you. The irony to that is that as part of our Bear Committee setting up for our next meeting, at least with regards, and Rex helped me out here, at least with Washoe County, there was a preference that we have the meeting after their CAB meeting. And, so it's a really difficult thing to manage. You do before the CABs and then go to the commission with their input. Do you go after the CABs? We're open to it either way. It's just a difficult thing to manage. And of course, times are short and the resources with the department are really strapped. There's a lot of things to staff and a lot of meetings to go to. So we're open for suggestions. If you got a consistent way you want us to try to do it, we'll work around it as best we can. It's tough when the CABs may not, everybody's got a little different viewpoint on the best timing, and of course we're left with, sometimes we'll have a meeting. Bear was a good example. We had one before, and it was pretty clear when we got about 10 minutes into the meeting we were going to need another one. So we had one before and one after, and it's difficult, but we're listening. We're trying.
Okay. Did you have?
I just want to comment that we're pretty much taxing the department right now with these committees. We haven't had a trapping committee before. We haven't had a bear committee before. And if you go to these meetings, they're 4 and 5 hours long, and you see somebody recording that meeting that generally doesn't record meetings, and that person that's recording that meeting has other duties at the department. We are pretty much overwhelming the department with the committees we have at this point. And so I understand the CABs want the information back out of the committees, but we're pushing to the point of breaking, and we're trying to make sure the committees work, the process is working, but information flow sometimes is tough. There's 3 of us on the committee. If the CABs have questions, you can often call us, and we can try to fill you in on things going on also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one comment to add to that. As a new committee chair on the Public Lands Committee, a couple of recommendations. Make sure to utilize the committee link on the on the commission webpage, because a lot of our information gets posted there. But I would echo what Commissioner Robb said. If you have questions, call us. That's our job. Call, email, whatever you need to do to get a hold of us and let us know. I try to make it to as many CAB meetings as I can. I usually do about 2 a month. But if you want us to come and try and tell you where we're at with the committee or something like that, let us know. We'll continue to work on our end to improve things. One recommendation I might have for the trapping committee down the road, when we get to it later in the agenda, is to actually add a couple more members so that we can communicate, at least a couple of us between meetings, and get a white paper or a summary of where we're at out, and maybe take that burden a little bit off of staff. But as it stands right now with 3 of us, we can't talk about anything related to trapping between meetings. So that has been a challenge.
Okay. Rex?
Rex Flowers, Washoe County Advisory Board. Yeah, I've attended the trapping meetings. I've been to both of the bear meetings, rather extensive. The suggestion was to hold it the night before so that the committees could get the input of every advisory board. The next agenda item for them is quotas. And the way that information comes out to even the committees, coming out 2 weeks before, I think it hits on like April 30th or something. So, or not April, was it April 30th? Yeah. So it's very, the department doesn't even have time to really get in and discuss it with the committees. And at that time, also, the department's trying to get out to each of these cabs that have requested any information from them. So there's a real critical timeline here, and it's real hard to get communications throughout, but at least by having their meeting, and I was asked what I thought, and I said I could not speak for all the cabs, but that in my opinion, at least by having it the night before, they've got the input of every cab, and that worked out this last time. I mean, you're going to vote the way you're going to vote. The committee took the action it felt was appropriate, but at least they had the communications from every cab.
Okay, thanks, Rex. Dr. Dixon.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark County Cab. Two things. One is that as far as getting information out, I'll say you guys are 1,000% better than 8 months, 12, 18, 24 months ago coming out of this commission to cabs. So that's a plus. I think that one of the things we could do, and I'd like to maybe get kind of a show of hands or have you ask the cabs, is how many of us could just receive and get a link basically directly from either the committees. When you post stuff on the committee thing, there's a link that automatically notifies the chair there's new information. Or when Suzanne posts her stuff, there's an email or a link that says, hey, everything's sitting here on the web. It's all electronic, and it's a link to the system. I think all of us as cab chairs have access to computers and a printer, and our counties can afford us a ream of paper once in a while. And we can just make copies, but rather than Suzanne putting together and making mailings out to us or the committees or doing other things, I think we could do it in the 21st century electronically a lot faster. That's comment number one. Comment number two comes to, when I started as chairman, I was having participation at my cab on the order of 6 to 12 people. Generally sportsmen, and nobody seemed to care what was really going on, even though crazy things were happening at the commission. My last meeting was the largest meeting Clark County ever held. I didn't even have the room for it. I had people way overflowed by a factor of 2 or 3 outside, well, about a factor of 3 outside of that room in the hallways and standing outside. I had 87 people that signed a sign-in sheet, plus there were those that didn't. One of them being Gina, who said she wasn't going to wait in line to sign the sign-in sheet. But we know she's there because she testified. I think it's healthy to have that kind of participation at the county advisory board level. I think it's extremely healthy to have both sides. I'm glad to see it. I hope it continues so that we get basically, as Commissioner Robb pointed out yesterday, the core value mix that we need to have with this commission and the boards for the public as well as the sportsmen. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Any other county advisory board member items? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back. We'll move on to agenda item number 13, regulate